What's going on? RGIJ is back, baby.
Right.
And then, you know what I mean? Like, I left for 16 years. I went to the military, left 16 years. I left here a fucking knucklehead, like a dumbass. Like, I left a kid who was just up to no good. You know, of course, there was a couple of fucking boots foot up my ass every day for kind of get my mind correct. And now I come back, I'm a father, I'm a husband, I do all these things. And it's like, I think for a lot of people, it's hard to understand. We go into the military and then we completely change. Like, everything about us is different. So when you're trying to meet somebody, they've only had that perception of like, I know you when you were this age. Yeah. And now you're a family man, you're this, and that, and you do all these things. And I think that's kind of a little bit what just is like a little bit hard for people to understand. Like, oh, you're actually a grown up.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially they're getting older too. So they kind of like seeing that it's a different transition.
Yeah. Plus the fact that you don't have to deploy no more. You don't have to worry about that. Like, that's one thing that my brother who just retired, he's loving that aspect of it. I mean, his daughter, my niece, is going to be 4, I believe. And he's just happy that he's out now at her age, because imagine if he was still in, her growing up would have been tough on him because, oh, I got to go here. I got to do this. I got to deploy, you know, and then be gone for several months up to a year or so. And he's missing out on a lot of things. So he's fortunate that he's got to retire at the right time to where now he could invest more with her growing up, her growth and everything else, and spend more daddy time. But he's bored as shit, man. Like he be texting me like, yo, what are the new shows to watch? What are the new movies? Because he's like, you know, I see it as him being happy because he doesn't have to worry about, you know, the PT, waking up early, the shaving and everything else. So he's just so ecstatic that he wakes up and is just to wake up and just chill. It's not to wake up to have to put a uniform on and do this and do that. So I be getting texts at him. I'm like, dude, I'm still sleeping. Like, why are you texting me at 8 in the morning? Like, call me around 11 o'clock. But yeah, he be texting me like, yo, what are the new shows? What's the new movies? And I be letting him know what to watch, what's good and what's not good. So he's just like,
get a damn job. Whatever you do, go get a job.
No, I doubt he's ever going to go back to work, man. He was an officer. He retired as a major. He did 28 years. So, and now his wife's working. So he figured it's your turn. You know, you stayed home. You took care of the family. So he's like, go ahead and, you know, get yourself some work in, and I'll stay home and I'll take care of the baby and everything else. So, but he loves it because he drops off the daughter at school. So he's home all the way to 3:30, 4 o'clock, whatever time she gets out. The wifey don't get home till later on in the evening, and they're just chilling. But that's him every day. It's like fucking Groundhog Day. And I told him, I said, enjoy it, man. Enjoy it. Live, decompress, and fucking do what but he's big into stocks and all that. He does a lot of day trading and things like that. So he makes sure, like, he was talking to me yesterday about the Dodge coin and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, okay, got it. But
you have no interest in that at all?
Not really. I mean, I fumble with it just a little bit because he tells me things like, oh, look out for this, look out for that, this and that. But he's into it. Like, every morning, he's like you. That's the first thing he does. He looks at his stuff, sees what's popping, what's good, what's not. Do I need to sell, buy, whatever the case may be? Then he'll go to the gym, work out, come back. He'll text me with some good shows. I say, hey, watch this movie. It was good. He'll do that, pick up the kid, and then all over again the next day. But he's really big on the trading. The cryptocurrency was going up, was going down, and things like that. But he's a big investor. Like, I might put maybe $100. He's putting like triple that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, boom, like let's make this money grow and let's do something with it. You know what I'm saying? Which I'm happy for him, because now he gets to really focus on that versus, again, he has more time to pay attention to all that stuff now. So that's like a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A little side hustle to make some little money here and there. But I tell you, man, when him and his wife come to visit and we go out, like, he's like, he's like, yeah, let's go out. Let's do it. Let's have a good time. Let's drink. Let's that. Let's this, let's that. Because, again, he wasn't into that stuff in the military, you know? It was always about the family and then work. Mission, family, mission, family. And then when he's deployed, you know, he's missing the family and everything else. So now that that's all over with, he's like, fuck it. Yeah. It's time to decompress and chill. And he will be officially retired on Tuesday. Oh, wow. So he's on terminal leave right now.
The first.
Yep. So the 1st of November,
Nice.
he's officially done. It's no more. And
Yeah.
it sucks because his job didn't have really no continuity, so they still be trying to ping him, and he's like, "Nope, out of office reply. See you later."
Yeah.
Because come Tuesday, he don't even call him. He's gonna be like, "Yo, lose my number, erase it, delete it, everything." Because I'm not trying to feel that at all.
It's like, yeah, if you want to, man, definitely just make creative positions. I mean, that's what's always interesting. Like, like you have a different perspective where you're just going to, you personally, right? Like you took some time off. I wasn't like that. There's always that different camps.
Right.
I cannot comprehend the idea of what are you gonna do today? I don't know. Like I'm gonna go do this stuff, and I'm just gonna chill out and have fun today. And you're like,
right.
I mean, but like that's a different perspective from people. So I think that's good if they're happy. But if they're not happy, then it's like whatever you do, go find a job at like Walmart, do something, shit.
Yeah.
Because some people really need it. I think that's what you find out when people retire. It's like you, right? Like you're gonna eventually. We don't even know if you're gonna go back to work. There's no fucking clue. Like I tell you, you're out of the matrix. So
I'm out of the matrix. I took the red pill. Morpheus.
Yeah, so have you been seeing that stuff on what is it, on whatever the shit is where they talk about the red pill, where people like seeing the truth and stuff like that?
Yeah. Never.
It's what the fuck is it?
Is it like
seen something.
Is it like real though? Like people are like, these are some of these people's perceptions. Like, hey, if you take this thing, you'll see the reality. We're in the matrix, basically, is what they're saying.
Well, it's kind of like some other, not like that, I guess. Have you ever seen the Reddit, the red pill Reddit? Just when we get done here, just type in red pill Reddit, and then we'll just go down there. And then the reason why I'm asking that, look it up, and then we have it now, like today, what day it is. And we see you in like 6 months, like full conspiracy. That's where we knew it started at. Like you went down the rabbit hole. You started seeing those, Operation Paperclip. Have you ever looked into that?
Yeah. I actually read a book. It's called Zigzag. It was actually written by the guy who was one of the spies for Paperclip and stuff like that. And he talks about that whole operation. Everything. As a matter of fact, they did Al Pacino did a show on Amazon. It's about that. So what they the premise of the show was he basically got a bunch of people that were Jewish and they were against the Nazis, and they know that the America took in some of these Nazi scientists to continue the studies, and he found out who they were living in the United States. So him and his crew will try to find them to kill them, just to get payback for all the stuff that they did to them in the Holocaust and things like that. So that was Operation Paperclip, was they were finding out who was disguised as Americans, pretending to be Americans. Meanwhile, they were actually Nazi fucking scientists.
No, you know what actually Operation Paperclip was?
I thought it was just the hidden identities of these people that they brought them in from Germany. Once we invaded and won the war, they, instead of putting them in prison or killing them, they took them into the United States to continue their science studies and all that shit.
No, it's for the fucking for NASA, for space. So Operation Paperclip is we took Nazi scientists. I think Russia took theirs too. Like we split them up,
right?
And they were part of our actual rockets, and so like that's why Vanderbilt, I think his name or some shit like that.
That we were able to go to space first.
Yeah, we actually took the scientists.
Yeah,
and like the guy, I think his name was Vanderbilt or some shit like that. What he would do is they would hang the 5 slowest people that day. They would hang them for everybody to see. Like, hey, you got to work. And then we got that guy, and that's how we went to the moon type of thing. That's what they did in those sense. And the reason why I bring it up is I think, like you start hearing about our past, right? We have a America has a past that maybe is not the best ever, right? Nor is there any other place by no means. But yeah, Operation Paperclip, Operation Hummingbird. I mean, there's so many different things that they were doing back then,
right.
For like to test LSD. They would go to brothels, they would kidnap guys that were in brothels, and they would drug them with LSD to start seeing what are they like. And so we would start doing those different things. But Operation Paperclip that's what we did, was we got the Nazi scientists, put them into our programs, and so we can expand our actual rocket missions and stuff like that. So I mean, that's what we did in that sense. I mean, and that's why it was kind of funny that, like, not funny, but it's like that's what we do and those type of things. We took somebody and was like, how can we use you? Brought them into America and that type of thing. And I think that's why when people, see that, they're going to get mad. Like, hey, like they did some really bad things, but because they're smart, they get away with it.
Yep. Yeah, because
You know
they
what I mean?
gave them false identities. Like everything was scrubbed. Like you were no longer, German last name. Now you became like John Alexander, something so American, like nobody knew. And they even had to train. I think I was seeing that they had to train them to sort of get rid of their accents as well, like try to be speaking more American style, so that way
Mm.
people couldn't really pick them out. So in the show, Al Pacino's character got a hold of where these people were living at and what their true identities were. So John Alexander was actually the scientist who was fucking trying to create, gas weapons or some shit like that. So they would use the Jews to, use the gas on them to see what effects it would cause and stuff. So Al Pacino goes with his crew, and then the whole premise is them looking for these people to get rid of them. It's crazy.
Yeah. Because then so it was a secret United States intelligence program with more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from Germany, from Nazi,
Right.
and they became employed after World War II, between 1945 through 1959.
Yeah.
So,
dude, that went on for so many years until now it just got declassified. And that's where that book Zigzag came out, because now he was allowed to speak about it and stuff like that. And I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy.
That's why when people talk, like that shit's like, that's like, oh wow, that's some kind of thing like that. And people are like, hey, what did you learn about it from the government? Like, nothing. Like, they don't, like, that's not like, not everybody. I think everybody in the military knows some shit. Like, I don't know shit.
I mean, I know stuff. I've seen and know stuff just because of my job. And other stuff that we did was like, if God forbid, if World War was to happen, we would know ahead of time what was the message traffic was coming through and who was saying what. So we had insight to that kind of, I thought that was pretty cool. Because when I first joined, they were like, hey, I got my top secret. And then they were like, look at this, sign this, sign that, but you can't talk about it. I was like, man, I thought there was just only 007 shit. Right? I'm like holding books with these cover sheets that say, secret or top secret. And, we had to understand what was in it because we had to apply that stuff to our work. So it was like, holy shit. Rollo thinks I just sit in the command post watch Netflix.
Well, I think, honestly, I think Rollo's secretly jealous. I think Rollo is really jealous of his little brother. And I think the reason why Rollo is super jealous is because like he was in Air Force first. He tried really hard. He tried the Marine life. It didn't work out for him. And then
he went to the Air Force Reserves though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He retired as an airman. I keep telling him that. Not retired, but he separated as an airman, not a Marine. You separated as an airman. But he still claims the devil dog. And I'm just like, bro, you're an airman. Aim high, bro. Aim high.
It's like that person who has like mistaken identity. Like, you're just not that no more, man. It's okay. Yeah. But you went to the reserve, so like the Marines don't want you no more because like you got tainted.
You got tainted. That's right. You don't bleed their colors no more.
But now that you're like Air Force, all the Air Force guys are like, you gotta take an intelligence test before we start talking to you and know like what kind of. Right. It is true though. But yeah, that's why I think Rollo's secretly jealous, and that's why he tried to get you killed this holiday weekend with somebody who didn't know. That's the most Marine shit ever. Is like, hey, there's a guy with a knife. Like, that's our buddy. Like, we're not gonna check him at all. We're just gonna be like, hey,
no credential check. He just said, hey. He just said the name. Hey, it's so and such. And we all like idiots. Oh, hey, what's going on? Hey,
they're gonna make a movie about it. Rollo's gonna be the first one to go because he was just like, the guy's like, come here with me. He's like, okay, what's up?
So what do you think? Should I get candy for the kids tomorrow? Or no.
Yeah, you should, man. That's the rudest thing in the world, man. Can you imagine these kids? Y'all just had a hurricane, all kinds of shit like that. They just want to get back to normal. And your old Mr. Scrooge ass is like, I don't want to pass out candy. Why? Because your costume sucks.
They like, fuck, we got to go back outside. Don't worry about COVID no more. And my porch light is turned off. Fuck that. Don't even come here.
Yeah. They see, people are going to be like, we got to throw eggs. And they see you come out too. They see you come out with your hair and shit like that. And be like, that's old man fucking Izzy right there. He's crazy as shit.
Nah, but we had we actually, me and Rollo had a fucking call 911, man, because we were driving. It was on a Wednesday. We were leaving the housing complex, and we saw this dude, black hat, black shirt, black pants, had a satchel across his chest, and Rollo tells me, "Yo, he has a gun." So I didn't see it. So I turned around. I turned the car around, And then I went around the roundabout, and we see him again, and lo and behold, on his backside, it looked like it was a handgun. It was like a 9mm whatnot, but you could see the butt of the gun. Like, he didn't have a shirt over it or anything. Like, he had that shit out for people to see. So our concern was that it's Wednesday, so the kids get out early, and the elementary school, he was walking towards the elementary school. Yeah. So, dude, I called 911, no answer. I called 911 again, no answer. Third time it took me to finally, they called and said, hey, 911. I was like, really? This is terrible. So we reported it in, and I don't know what happened from that. They never updated me to say if they got him or they talked to him or whatever. Because normally there's supposed to be a patrol unit out there with the school whenever they come out. Mm-hmm. And as we're driving away from the school, it's like around 2-something, almost 3 o'clock. And then we see the cop passing us to take his position into the school. Meanwhile, the kids come out early, so he should already been positioned there. That motherfucker was probably eating some late lunch and was like, oh, shit, I got to, the kids fucking come out early or whatnot. Yeah, so we called it in, and I don't know what happened to him. I was going to call them back to say, hey, I'm the one who reported it. What's the update? Did he get, picked up or what? But, I mean, that shit was exposed, and he didn't care. He's, like, walking like everything is good. Yeah. And we were like, oh, hell no. Because God forbid we didn't do that and something did happen, right. I would have felt pretty shitty. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have been like, just let him be. Who gives a fuck? Like, nobody cares. But then next thing you know, fucking the news talks about this dude shooting up the school. I would have been like, oh, fuck. We could have done something and we chose not to. But I was like, fuck, I'm just going to call 911 and just, whatever happens, happens. He's an idiot walking around with the gun showing like that. So I was like,
911 was like, we're having staffing issues right now. Like,
dude, 3 times. 3 times it took me to get through. And, I would let it ring 4, 5, 6 times. And I'm like, dude, this is unheard of. So one of my buddies works like with 911 dispatchers. And that shit's supposed to be like, as soon as the call comes in, boom, 911, and everything. Dude, 3 times it took me to finally get through to them for them to fucking answer and say, hey. And they returned my call because they were like, hey, we saw we got a number called 911. Is there a problem? What's the emergency? And I was like, damn, really? Now you call me back? So, but yeah, it was crazy. I don't know what that kid was thinking. Like, I mean, I know Florida itself is crazy with the guns and everything else, but for him to just be walking around with that shit exposed, I don't know what he thought he was doing.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting, man. It's really wild. Like with nowadays, you gotta be careful. You don't know what the fuck's going on with this shit. Like, you really, I mean, we talked to Chantel, like, you just don't fucking know, honestly. Mm-hmm. There was some shit that just happens all the time. Like, something's going on here, something's going on there. And like, you really don't know where the fuck people are at, like, mentally. You don't know what that dude is, like. Right. Some of these kids will have a fake gun trying to act like they're a badass. And it's like, what I mean? You honestly have no idea what anyone's, I think that's why, like, I don't really mess with nobody. Like, somebody was like, what? Do you want something? Like, I have no idea who you are, man. I don't know what you're about. There's some crazy motherfuckers today. So I think it's always good to be like, hey, I'll let the authorities handle it. It would have been awesome if you would have stayed there and like roll a wig out of the car and be like, you stay here. You were under citizen's arrest. That'd have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, and we fucking tackle his ass and shit. Yeah, beat him with his own gun, pistol whip him.
But I think both y'all would have been out of breath. Y'all would have chased him. So I think it's probably better.
We would have stopped the car. He would have shot us. We would be like, "Oh, look, we try to be good fucking Samaritans, and look, now we're shot." Yeah. No, but I'm surprised. Like, as many cars that were passing him, nobody, what I'm saying? Like, nobody even would thought to be like, "What's this kid doing?" You know what I'm saying?
So I mean, all trying to call 911 and nobody answers. They're like, "Fuck, I guess that's not a big deal today."
That's partly why it took me 3 times, because maybe the phone lines were fucking busy. But I mean, Rolo, he had good vision to observe that stuff. I was just focused on driving, and he looked at the kid, and he already, when he saw the fucking the butt of the gun sticking out like that. But then Rolo was like, "Yo, he's wearing a bulletproof vest," and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, he's walking Punisher. So when I turned around, I looked, and he had a fucking a fanny pack on it. I was like, "Bro, that's not a fucking bulletproof vest, man." He was like, "Oh, I thought he had a bullet," and he was walking like he was holding an AR fit, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, dude, he's just a kid with a fanny pack and a gun sticking out of the back pocket. But Rolla made it seem like he was the fucking Punisher coming to fucking assassinate everybody.
I wonder if Rolo like just guessed on the gun, and then when he found it was true, he's like, I'm gonna guess on some other shit. Like, he had combat boots on. He was wearing like no, he wasn't wearing. He was wearing flip flops.
Yeah, camouflage, he had BDUs on, and everything else, and he was fucking out there. Yeah, he's just walking with flip flops.
Y'all should have called 911 at the same time, and y'all give both a description. They're looking for someone completely different. Like, it's on the news now.
I was describing the person, and then Rolo gets on, and he's like, yeah, you know, it happened at least 10 minutes ago. He's walking towards the school, and then I'm just like, you know, I got it. You know, I'm describing the person. I guess he was getting frustrated that she was asking so many questions. But I was like, dude, but that's her job. You know, she has to ask all these questions. But he felt like, dude, we're telling you who it is, where they're at. Just fucking hang up the phone and call who you need to call. Like, stop asking her. I mean, she was asking a lot of questions. Like, when did this happen? How long ago did you see him? And I'm telling her, I was like, ma'am, I'm telling you, I just saw him right now, like 5 minutes ago. I just drove by. Where's the location? Where the Wyndham Lakes Elementary School is at. That's where the location is at. Oh, what cross streets is it? And I was like, oh, my God. By the time I tell you, God forbid, the guy already killed half of the school already. He already wiped them all out.